Watch the bad guys all drop when they see what is real. Mob justice, hey, hey, gonna wipe this mess away. Mob justice, hey, hey, making corporations pay. You dumped, you waste, you poisoned our streets. Now face the rage of a freak who can't be beat. Mob justice, hey, hey, gonna wipe this mess away. Mob justice, hey, hey, making corporations pay. Chemical burns made me strong. Now I'm cleaning up where I belong. Mob justice, mob justice. From the islands where the sun meets the sea, Jason's the voice we all wanna be. Interviewing creators, making comics come alive. With every story, he helps us thrive. Jason from Hawaii, diving in deep, unveiling the stories that we wanna keep. From creators to heroes, he's got the scoop on the comics for fun and profit loops. So tune in.
Aloha! It's Jason from Hawaii. Welcome to a special edition of the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. In this episode, I will be talking to friends of the podcast and the perfect creative team for this amazing AHOY Comics, the Toxic Avenger trade. Now, the creative team is I have writer Matt Bors and artist Fred Harper. Like I said, they are here to promote the Toxic Avenger trade. When this interview comes out, it's already out in stores. Matt and Fred, welcome to the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. How are you guys doing this? Actually, on your guys' side, how are you guys doing this evening?
Oh, great. Having fun and making a lot of profit in the comic book business.
Now, listeners, I just want to point this out. Fred, I think it's great that you're joining us from Athens, Greece. That's amazing. That is so cool.
This is the only time I get to speak English with other people like regularly now.
All right. Now, Matt and Fred, I'm just gonna talk about some of you guys' works at AHOY Comics because I want to start trying to move right into this amazing, and I got to do some other housekeeping stuff too. But so listeners, check out some of Fred's works. Some of the other things that he did for AHOY Comics, like Snelson. Oh, that's a great miniseries. That's all in trade. Highball that was written by Stuart Moore. That's also out in trade. Also, now Matt has worked on Justice Warriors and Justice Warriors Vote Harder, and Matt, I can say this because I saw the press release yesterday. This coming July, you'll be writing the ongoing series of the Toxic Avengers. Is that correct?
Yeah, with Fred on art and a couple guest artists, but we're doing an ongoing with years of stories planned. So hopefully we get to them all. But we're planning on the long run, and the trade is pick up the trade because it's part of the story.
Yes, and it's very good. I love it. Okay, so Matt, I'm going to start off with you, and Fred, jump in. Where can listeners follow you guys on social media?
Okay, I got mine right here.
Yeah, Fred.
I'm Dead Red Fred on most media. So Blue Sky, Instagram, and I have a Substack, and it's also Dead Red Fred, all one word.
Now, where does that come from, Fred?
I saw a weird play in first grade, and there was I was like, nobody else in my school was named Fred, and so the kids wrote a play called one involved Freaky Freddy, and the other one was Dead Red Fred. And I thought, and it's always stuck with me since first
Okay.
grade. And everybody just looked at me every time they said Freaky Freddy, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize my name was so weird, and
Hmm.
that
My
was
dad's name is Fred. Did
there
you
you go.
did you ever see the movie Drop Dead Fred?
No, but people have been telling me I should see it. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't know if it holds up, but anyway, I'm just
okay.
derailing the pod. I wanted to talk
No,
to Fred about his name.
no, but
Yeah, let's all drink now.
no, but this is what I love about doing these interviews. I mean, we'll go back to promoting the book and stuff, but I love it when, Matt, I love it if you just and Fred ask Matt questions. Don't it's not we're not it's this is not a no, we have to answer my questions. Who have fun. And also too, I was thinking like, yeah, what was the movie that you mentioned, Matt?
Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, because
It
even
was
though
like
it
a
Mhm.
90s comedy about a woman with an imaginary friend and it comes back and she's an adult and I have kind of a fond memory of it. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if it holds up or if
but
it's like problematic or whatever. I was kind of thinking about it recently because I was like, I wonder if that would be like appropriate for my kids or if they'd like it.
no, but the other thing I'm going to say, but and it's okay if we go off the rails for a few seconds, is that um but it kind of sort of fits into the Toxic Avenger because I'm going to say, I've never seen the original movie. I've only
Mm.
heard about it. I've seen pictures of it and so forth. And then, it's now listeners, it's now, Lloyd Kaufman. Now, just real quickly, Lloyd Kaufman and his partner, um, oh shoot, I forgot him. And his partner Michael, I forgot to write down his last name. They're directors and producers of this classic cartoon cult classic. I've never seen it, but now it's available everywhere on Peacock. I'm watching it on Amazon, and and the thing is, I'm just enjoying it for a movie of its time. And you can tell they're just doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
you know,
Well, Troma
That's
Call, I
almost
think they
how we.
build themselves as grade Z cinema. It's not a B movie, it's a Z movie,
yeah,
and it shows.
yeah.
And I think that's the charm of it, is that it's crass,
It,
it's violent, it's intentionally low budget. They don't put like extensive thought into trying to make it a complex, deep themes to unearth through
yeah.
rumination. It's just a silly movie.
Fred, have you seen the Toxic Avenger?
I did. I saw it probably in '85 on VHS. I was in college, and my dorm. There was
Mhm.
one kid on the floor of my dorm that had the VH
Yes.
player, and he had like a couple of tapes,
Yeah.
and I watched Caddyshack
Oh,
about 50 in a row. It
mhm.
became a thing. Everybody just started watching it like Rocky Horror. You know,
Yes.
we had all the dialogue memorized, and I fell in love with all the comics that were on there.
Hmm.
Rodney Dangerfield's one of my favorite now,
Oh yeah.
and and somebody popped in a Toxic Avenger, and I was just like, wow. I was like, it was real. I thought it was a lot of fun to see it, and but I didn't think a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
But once I moved to New York, I kept running into people that work for trauma, and so like, oh yeah, I search for locations for trauma, and oh, I do special effects, and it's like all these people, and I'm like, that's, and like I feel like I'm slowly becoming part of trauma
Hmm.
just because I keep running into so many people in my
Hmm.
circle. So it was really yeah, it was a really interesting movie, but I definitely remembered it.
Yeah.
And then I saw it at the 40th anniversary was this past year,
Oh,
I think,
okay.
last year,
Yes.
and that's when I saw Lloyd Kaufman, and I sat in they had a screening. It was
Yes.
at a bar in Coney Island, and it was totally low budget as
Yes.
it was like a sideshow thing in Coney Island, and it was hilarious. And I sat in the bleachers next to one of the psychos that was murdering people
Oh.
in the movie.
Hmm.
He was the guy with a headband on,
Yeah.
uh, and the kind
But
of
Bozo?
hair. Is that what his name? I never knew his
I don't
name.
know.
And I was
Well, he's like
next to him,
the lead kind
bully
of bully
psycho.
psycho is
Yeah,
Bozo.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then the
And
other
then he
guy,
kind of
his
becomes
buddy.
Bonehead.
And I'm sorry, what was
Oh
it?
yeah.
He becomes
Uh,
Bowman, Bonehead.
Uh, kind of. I mean, I think he's the like Bozo is the inspiration for Bonehead in the cartoon, and then
Hmm.
Claire is the inspiration for Yvonne.
In the Toxic
okay.
Crusaders. Oh, okay.
Not that
Yeah. So
anyone cares, but
Oh,
yeah, because the funny thing is, the other guy, this his fellow psychopath in the car, was
yes.
worked at this bar in Coney Island, and he's just like a bar back or something there, and he just hangs out, and you can go and visit him now if you're in Coney Island. You're
Hmm.
just like, it's so funny. He's just like really nice, he's like,
Hmm.
hey, yeah, I was in that movie.
Hmm.
I don't think he ever did anything else. He's just but he's the one that arranged the showing at this bar for the
So cool.
40th anniversary. And
Hmm.
so I was like, wow, I feel like I just I think I had just got word that I forget when we started this, but yeah, I think I just started doing something,
Hmm.
just started doing the comic, and yeah, I was like, wow, I'm part of this. and,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
they had no idea. I didn't introduce myself. I was just like, you guys are having fun,
Yeah.
and I stayed out. I probably could have hung out,
Hmm.
but
That is so cool because, Fred, that's so cool because, like you said, you're because now, you're part of the trauma universe because already you ran into people who, work for trauma. You saw the 40th anniversary movie. And then because I'm going to go back to you, Matt, because it last year, the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con that you met Lloyd Kaufman?
it was actually 2023. But
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry. That's right. Yeah,
I
sorry.
was uh, I was closing down the nib, and I was actually there for the Eisners, which I would
Hmm.
win. The nib would win for
Hmm.
like best anthology, I think
Hmm.
it was. Uh, and I
okay,
had
sure.
it in my head actually for a
Yes,
couple
congratulations.
years.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I had it in my head for a couple years
Hmm.
that I wanted to do a Toxic Avenger take, along with
Hmm.
a couple other characters, like just I have ideas for
Hmm.
some less attainable than others. And one thing was with the nib ending didn't have a lot of work lined up.
Hmm. Yeah.
Frankly, I had another series of Justice Warriors, and that was it. And
Yeah.
that wasn't enough full-time work. And I don't have a day job. I mean, at least I wasn't trying to get one at the
Hmm.
time. At least I was trying to keep working in comics. And I had pitched a couple different things to different people, and they didn't
Hmm.
go anywhere. And then I thought when I was there, I was going to shoot my shot with Lloyd Kaufman because uh, you should do that thing. You should do that
Yeah.
stuff if you have the opportunity. And it turned out that it worked out incredibly easy for how these things go,
Yes.
IP licensing, that type of thing. Sometimes it can get complicated. This
Hmm.
wasn't really very complicated. I mean, I pitched a pretty ambitious plan. I pitched multiple volumes, really. Like the stuff that we're doing,
Hmm.
uh, me and Fred are doing next is stuff that I pitched in 2023. So I pitched doing multiple volumes, like a big run with a whole overarching story, and everybody was into it. And Troma and Ahoy came together and hammered out the deal just like that. And here we are.
Oh man, that is so cool. Like I said, I again, I just want to say I think it's so cool that literally, again, Fred, you met people who worked at Trauma. You saw the 40th anniversary movie. Matt, in 2023, you went and talked to, Lloyd Kaufman, and, he sounded like a cool guy going, yeah, sounds pretty good. Let's do this. That's so cool. Um, I'm let's just jump right in. Matt, I'm going to start off with you, and Fred, just jump in. So, you know, um, you know, as I mentioned, I've read the advanced copy of the trade. I love it. It's great. But for listeners, Matt, I'm just going to ask, what is the story about?
So it is, if you're familiar with the Toxic Avenger at all, it's a similar origin story, but it
Yes.
is it is different. It's all new. It's updated. So basically, what happens is there's a toxic train. There's a train derailment filled
Hmm.
with toxic waste that overturns, and it actually mutates a couple teenagers who just happened to be bullying Melvin Junko at the time of the derailment. So they mutate the bullies and
Hmm.
Melvin into the Toxic Avenger. And at the same time, that the town is put under quarantine by this corporation called Biohazard Solutions, or BS for short. And
Yes.
things go from there.
Yeah.
The town kind of spirals out of control. There's a ton of violence and gore, and um, a couple other mutants show up. People
Hmm.
from the Toxic Crusaders kind of start to pop up through the run,
Hmm.
and you have to read the rest to
Yes.
get the
No.
rest.
Yes. And then Fred, so um how did you come along for this ride? You know, um,
Well, speaking of trains,
yes.
I was I had just wrapped up a book, my run with Highball for AHOY a few months earlier, and I was like, well, I'm kind of out of work again, so I was coming home from on the train from Albany back to New York City,
Hmm.
and uh, I got a phone call from Tom Pear, the editor, and he goes, "Hey, would you be interested in working on the Toxic Avenger?"
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I could say yes fast enough,
Hmm.
but it was really fun, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this. I'm on a train and I just got work,
Hmm.
and it was yeah, and then I was like inspired. I was like, I'm gonna start drawing right now, and I'm gonna start trying to figure out like what this is gonna look like. And
Hmm.
uh, they said I could redesign it however I want, and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, okay. So I looked at every picture I could
Yes.
of the Toxic Avenger, and
Hmm.
I didn't see any like he looked different from film to film. He looked
Hmm.
different from the cartoon to the, So I'm like, well, I feel like I got a lot of leeway,
Hmm.
and the main thing that was there always there was the uneven eyeballs,
Yes.
and Matt had written something that was like about when toxic waste hits your body, things change,
Hmm.
and half my brain melted and my face melted,
Hmm.
and I was like, yeah, that's I'm going to go with that.
Hmm.
Like I was imagining his whole structure changing, and so I started playing around with the uh, asymmetrical face
Yes.
to figure out like what to do with it, and I ended up making a clay bust of it, and
Hmm.
like dimensional, so I could light it differently, and try to figure out different angles on it, and it really helped me figure out how to draw it more consistently.
Hmm.
And although I keep some of the tumors on his body
Yes.
uh, about in the same place, but like I just feel like uh, we can play with the idea that he's just constantly mutating.
Yes. Hmm.
Like if he gets, I don't know, we didn't really shoot him too much in the first issue or in that first issue, and I was trying to figure out like, well, I don't know, like I guess he can get shot. He
Hmm.
got shot in the film, yeah,
Yeah.
and he was fine. But so I was like, oh, I'll go with that. Like,
Hmm.
he's just constantly mutating, so the tumors will appear wherever I feel like putting them.
That's so
So,
cool.
Oh yeah. I don't
and I
think
and I love the
anyone's
ridiculousness
gonna
of
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
think
Matt.
anyone's gonna call you on that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you got somebody keeping track of all
yeah,
the
yeah,
tumors in each panel, you're dealing with
yeah,
a real crazy
yeah,
person.
yeah. They're gonna follow me home, and
Yeah. So Matt, when you've had the story in your mind, you got the green light to do this. Fred's on board. What was your reaction when you start to see some of Fred's work of the Toxic Avengers? Do you,
Oh, I loved it. Tom had suggested Fred. He was our first choice, and I was into it. And
hmm
I think he's perfect. He's got that like gritty inks, and he's very
yes.
good at the grotesque. And
hmm
Fred's very good at anatomy, which I think
yes.
you have to be for distorting anatomy.
hmm
And like the painted covers look great. And our Toxic Avenger, Fred's really made him big and muscular
yes.
and imposing, really. He's bigger than the other versions of the Toxic Avenger, which I like.
hmm
And yeah, I don't know. It's perfect. It fits. It's especially, I mean, from the first page of the book is a splash page of the
Yeah,
Toxic Avenger screaming, and that's great.
it
But
is.
I think as it goes on, Fred's only gotten better
Mhm.
at drawing this stuff. So it's awesome.
So what I
yeah,
l-
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm easily encouraged by Matt when he's like, "Oh yeah, he really nailed how gross that was," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it more next time."
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, I think we've gotten I'm not going for it's kind of a combination of stuff from the movie and
Mhm.
heavily influenced by the Toxic Crusaders, but that was a kids cartoon.
Yes.
So we're trying to do something definitely for grown-ups.
Yes.
A little more relevant. I'm not going as gory as like a trauma movie, but I think as
Yeah.
it's gone on, we've got a little bit more confident with our violence and gore, and
Mhm.
so we're gonna keep ramping it up as time goes on.
Oh, that's so cool. So, um, Matt, I just because I saw one of your interviews that you did with the Bearded Comic Bro. Now, listeners, check out the Bearded Comic Bro YouTube podcast with Matt Bors. That was dated on November 13th of 2024. And Matt, what I love that you said about Fred's art, it's a combination. He has that combination of Richard Corbin and Simon Beasley vibe to the series. And you're right. I love it, Fred. That's perfectly spot on. You know.
I mean,
yeah.
I've thought that, and other people have said those names and others. And sometimes I don't like comparing artists or saying
hmm
this person's like that. But I think what they share, one is these grotesque muscular. I mean, Bisley is really good at those, like, muscular
hmm
bodies. Corbin too, obviously. I really think that to me, the Toxic Avenger is like a showcase for Fred Harper, who I feel is a little bit underappreciated in the general comics world. His name should be, could be
hmm
up there with Bisley and Corbin. So I'm hoping that some of the people will be like, oh, this is like Fred Harper, man. This is like got
hmm
that cool Fred Harper vibe to it. Because
How much do I owe you now?
yeah, yeah. No, but I that's not just blowing smoke. I mean, I think that it's harder to get those career defining runs today
Yes.
because runs don't last very long and
hmm
everything. And so, I do view this as like, doing a real run,
hmm
like me and Harper on a run that
hmm
hopefully will be like 20 some issues or 30 total
Oh, come
with the
on,
first
Matt. Come on. We're not going for 20 or 30. Let's shoot for 150.
well, look, I will say that I have planned out probably for sure 20 to 30 total.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, I got to get there first, but
Yeah.
this is a title that I could keep writing for a long time. So who knows? But that's the idea is
Mhm.
get a couple year run for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
But
I'm on board too.
and
I totally agree.
because the thing is, Fred, and Matt, and like I said in the beginning, and I'm not making this up. I'm not saying this lightly, but you guys are the perfect creative team for the Toxic Avenger because w-
Hell yeah.
Fred, Fred, the thing I
Mhm.
love your version about the Toxic Avenger. He's so gross looking, and I love it. And yet at the same time, Fred, you're able to show his soft side as well. That's amazing. That is great. You see like you said, Matt, the first pages, you see this grotesque, disfigured face, but as in the first issue, as the story goes on, you see the tender moments where he's this big hulking guy, but then he kind of shrinks a little. Not shrink, but he kind of it's like a little tender moment when either he's talking to Yvonne or his mom. Or would you like to say anything, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, not trying to get, too cerebral or intellectual with the Toxic Avenger, but I mean, I think to write a story that people care about, you have to infuse it with a little bit more complexity and heart than, just like the 2 hour movie that's a little bit more schlocky,
Yeah.
right? So I
Mhm.
tried to, like, for instance, I think in the movie he comes across some like, I don't know, criminals, whatever. They're like
Yeah. Oh,
sticking
my
people
God.
up,
Yes, I'm
you
to
know, and
that
he
part.
brutally murders them, and it's funny. But I think, and I didn't want him to be a an unrepentant killer of,
Hmm.
people on the street. He's a teenager that this has happened to. He's dealing
Hmm.
with it. He does, spoiler, he does kill people, but
Hmm.
it's usually justified. It's in self-defense.
Yeah.
So, trying to sort of beef up his relationship with Yvonne a bit, make all these characters believable, and
Hmm.
kind of, there's narration from Toxie, and trying to make that believable and get in his head about what this would be like to be like a picked on kid who mutates into this hero that's both admired and loathed. Um, who can't relate?
Hmm. Fred, do you
Yeah, I
want to
agree
add
with
anything?
the yeah, like the dialogue between the characters and between seeing the Toxic Avenger doing the action and then the internal monologue is really kind of like what I'm like, wow, you really get a sense of this kid just dealing with some shit in his head,
Yes.
and he's also kind of a goofball that likes to bust balls too,
Yes. Hmm.
and so does his girlfriend,
Hmm.
or I guess I'll call her his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and he's, it's that beginning crush,
Hmm.
that like my first love kind of thing, but she's a sarcastic, asshole too,
Hmm.
so, and I love that because I that's my favorite kind of girl actually. I is like this sarcastic asshole girl that like is also nice,
Hmm.
somehow.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And so yeah, the dialogue is great, and I was trying to can I talk about one moment in the second issue is he's trying to get Yvonne's attention,
Hmm.
and I was trying to choreograph that page so that it worked. Where I wanted him to be trying to give her a look. He's trying not to talk in front of the person
Hmm.
dealing with, and he's like, come on,
Hmm.
I was trying to get that across, but I mean, he's this hideous monster with uneven eyes, and I'm like, oh man, this is why did I design him like this?
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it's like, just trying to get that, and the dialogue really works for it that in that respect, and that was like one of my favorite moments in that issue, and trying to get that back and forth
Hmm.
between the
Yeah.
two was it was dialogue and silent,
Hmm.
so it's all
Yeah.
body language too. So
Fred's really great at that stuff. And by the way, the next series when it starts, it's going to be 5 issues
Hmm.
that are all one and done genre stories. So
Oh,
like
so
Fred's
nice.
doing the first
Yeah.
one, which is horror.
Yeah.
We're going to really lean into the each genre, but I wanted to mention that, the relationship between Toxie and Yvonne is one of the central relationships in the series. So there's going to be a romance issue. I think it's issue th 4, maybe issue
Okay.
4, romance, and
Hmm.
it's not going to be a typical romance story.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of violence and stuff like that. But the relationship between Toxie and Yvonne will be central to that issue.
So, because Matt, and that's a perfect segue because what I really love about this mini series is at the core of this story is really a love story. And like you said, it's like, and the thing I, I really, this is a great story because Yvonne, at the end of the story, I'm really caring about, you know, about the Toxic Avenger, you know,
Good.
and
yeah,
I'm going to say I
that's
didn't expect it.
Yeah. Well, good. That's great. I love hearing that. I mean, I, like I said, Toxie and Yvonne are central, and I know where it's going. And I know what the last page of the story is going to be years from now. I got a whole arc planned. So in this initial series, they're technically not even girlfriend boyfriend.
Yes.
It's not really brought up what they are until like the third or fourth issue, and
Hmm.
you realize that like they haven't technically got together yet. So it won't be a big spoiler to say they're on track for that.
Yeah.
But we're rolling it out slow.
But what I love too is that um Yvonne accepts Justin slash the Toxic Avenger for who he is. Because she liked him, as this nerdy 98-pound weakling. He finds his pink ballerina and he's just fussing around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then he transforms into this grotesque monster, this huge grotesque monster. But she still stays with him. She even protects him at times. And
Yeah.
that's,
Well, in the original movie, Claire is blind, and
yes.
it's certainly played up as a joke that she can't see how ugly he is. And then they refined it a bit for the Toxic Crusaders, and Yvonne is she's like half blind, she's like low vision.
Yes.
I don't know how well they explain it in the cartoon, but in our series, she's basically um colorblind, like totally colorblind,
Hmm.
and has low vision.
Hmm.
So it's not that she can't see him. It's
Hmm.
just that they're both like outcast kind of,
Yes. Hmm.
and and the way I like to write her, and Fred does a great job of, interpreting this in both of their body languages, is that like, she is the more kind of cynical and sarcastic one.
Hmm.
And Toxic Crusader is heroic, but also he's very naive and insecure.
Hmm.
And he doesn't always make the right decisions. I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't Superman. It wouldn't,
Hmm.
the part of
Hmm.
Toxic Avenger is that it's a superhero parody, and things often go wrong. And so there's just going to be more of that. I mean, ultimately he's 18. I think I'm going to make him 18 for I guess technically the timeline is it's the summer after high school.
Yes. Hmm.
So he will be they will both be 18 moving forward, and but he's still 18. I mean,
Hmm.
he's not that smart.
Yeah, we didn't address to see if he had a graduation. It's like there's a
Yeah.
talk bill, and
Hmm.
then I guess school is off.
Yeah.
They're like, well, it's full of toxic waste. We can't go back. So that might be an interesting graduation day.
Well, that gives me an idea, because I'm only writing the horror issue now, and there
Hmm.
might be it might actually fit in with one thing I'm doing, is just to address it in a way. Because anyway, I'll tell you later,
Yeah. Don't.
Fred, because
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Brad, I'm gonna
Yeah.
start off with you, and then Matt just jump in. You want to give shout outs to the rest of the creative team that helped put this mini series together, trade?
Oh
No.
yeah,
No, okay,
yeah,
that's it. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. Those assholes, jeez. I mean, gosh, yeah. They're always are. They're always not talking to us and not making us draw what they want, and they're letting us do whatever we want. How dare they? You know. So yeah, no. Thank you to Hannah and Hart Seeley, our fearless leader, who I've only talked to a few times. And he's hilarious. And oh wait, David Hyde
Hmm.
and of course Lloyd Kaufman. You know,
Yes.
it's
Hmm.
like for letting us just be as crazy as we can be with his characters.
No, no, I really appreciate that they have let us really run wild on this. They're not overbearing and,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
dictating what we do and all
Hmm.
that. But, you know, I do want to mention the creative team on the book,
Hmm.
Lee Luffridge on colors
Yes.
and Rob Steen on letters. We got a great we got a great team.
Hmm. Yes.
You know, I'm a cartoonist, so I can do everything, including I letter Justice Warriors. So I'm always like I'm real I guess picky, honestly, because you
It's
know,
yeah.
not that I'm amazing at that stuff. Like, I mean, I think I'm okay, but like, I like to work with people who are better than me, is the point. So, like, you know, Fred's a better artist than me for sure. I like, yeah, and like the colors on this book have been great.
Hmm.
Everything's been great.
Yes. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I'm slowly wrapping this up. Matt, this question is for you. I know you already saw it, but I want listeners to I'm going to ask it. Now, will we see a Toxic Avenger and Officer Shit team up? I want to
Yeah,
see that.
yes, you're in luck because this series Toxie Team Up is starting. It's like 5 issues, which are one and done stories. And so the first one is Toxic Avenger and Jesus, written by
Yes.
Mark Russell. And that's
Mhm.
out, I want to say June.
Yeah.
So
No,
they're
yeah, yeah,
doing
that's all.
5 AHOY properties. So there's like the Jersey Devil with Stuart Moore writing, Acid Chimp, and fourth one is Wrong Earth by Tom Pyre,
Oh
my
my
editor,
God.
which is a
Holy
great series.
cow.
And then the fifth one's going to be Toxic Avenger and Justice Warriors. We've already written it. Ben Clarkson is drawing it now. It won't be out until like God, I don't know, June, July, August, September, you know, September, October, something like that. But it's in the works, and you will get to see Toxic Avenger make his way to Bubble City, which, if you don't know, is the city in my creator-owned series Justice Warriors. And swamp and it's filled with mutants. Everybody there is a mutant,
Yes.
so
Hmm.
Toxic Avenger won't be out of place, though he will be arrested for illegal immigration.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
You know, New Jersey is not recognized there.
All right, I'm
Yes.
gonna
You trust
um
those people.
I'm sorry, Fred. What were you saying? Sorry.
You can't trust those New Jersey people. They're the they started the Jersey Devil thing. You know, like now they won't shut up about it. You know, so.
All right, so actually three more questions. So Fred, I'm gonna start off with you. Any convention appearances in later this year?
Yes, got something in May, May 4th,
Hmm.
and of course I can't remember the name off the top of my head,
It's okay.
and I'm like I was gonna write that down earlier, but it's like it's in Manhattan. It's a 2 day, it's a 2 day
Hmm.
weekend thing, and it's at the hotel. Was it the Marriott somewhere in Midtown? So it's a guy. It's a really nice guy. Put
Hmm.
me. He's a comic book store owner,
Hmm.
collector himself, and he puts on a big show, and we sell original art. So I'll have a bunch of the original covers for
Nice.
Toxic Avenger there,
Hmm.
and so yeah, it's coming up. I will be posting that on Dead Red Fred on Instagram. So when it's time, I shout about everything I'm doing. So, but other than that, I don't really have any other plans. Missing
Hmm.
Ithaca,
Hmm.
where Matt's going to be. You know, so I have so many friends in Ithaca, and it's yeah, that's it for now.
Matt,
And
what about you?
I'll be spending the rest of April in Athens.
That's gonna be nice.
Um, well, I'm in Ithaca this weekend. I don't know if that's even going to be when the
No,
pod
sorry.
comes out, but
Yeah,
I don't
sorry.
have a ton of conventions planned. I do think around this series coming out this summer and the Toxic Avenger movie, I'm going to be planning some comic book signings in my
Hmm.
region, which is I'm in Ontario, so Ontario and sort of
Hmm.
New York, Ohio
Hmm.
area, anywhere else I can get to.
Yes.
Not a lot of conventions though, honestly, this year. I'm gonna be at San Diego, but I'm not tabling there. So well, I mean, I can say if you're at San Diego,
mhm.
I will surely do some sort of signing at the Troma booth.
Oh,
So,
that'd be
you know,
nice. That would be nice. Um, two more questions, and this is a
yeah.
fun one. Are you guys hoping to get invitations to red carpet invitations to see the Toxic Avenger when it comes out?
Man,
I
I
mean,
didn't
hey, I
know.
wasn't even thinking about it, but if they're thinking about us little guys, they're welcome to invite us, I'd love to be there.
Oh yeah, I'll go. Maybe, yeah, maybe I take the bus there. And,
All right, Matt, I'm going to start off with you and Fred, um, and then Fred, any closing words to our listeners?
thank you for supporting us, and we appreciate everybody. And it would be great to shake everyone's hand at any of our appearances. And just watch first. That's We're not toxic, really.
Yeah, I mean, just, thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Hopefully you're reading. And important to, subscribe to the new series once it's launched. Comes out in July.
Mhm.
And, we're attempting to do an ongoing at an indie comics company, which is a harder thing to do these days. So we're gonna need readers putting that thing in their pool box.
Mhm. Matt, Fred, mahalo. Thank you in Hawaiian. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for giving me another opportunity to interview you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
problem, man. I appreciate you reading and picking up on what we're doing with the story.
Thank you very much. And and I am not saying this lightly. Just thank you guys for making comics. You know,
Yeah.
thank you very much, especially in this day and age right now, how things are uncertain. Just thank you very much for making comics. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
no problem. We're gonna keep making them.
I want to give a big mahalo to Hannah of Superfan Promotions for help setting up this interview. Again, Hannah, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes, and thank you for providing me with an advanced copy. Now, listeners, the Toxic Avenger trade is out. I highly recommend you guys pick up this trade. You know, um, Fred's art in this Fred and Matt are the perfect creative team for this series. They are. Fred's art is awesome. You guys have to check it out. Again, I love how Fred is able to capture the Toxic Avenger's revolting looks, but at the same time, he makes us care about um about his character. He shows the human side of it. And Fred, that's what I love about of your artwork about the Toxic Avenger. It's great. And also Matt, we talk about environment. The series has all layers like environmental issues, bullying, social media. But what I really love about
Yeah.
this story is that at the core of it, it's the accepting of other people for who they are you know. And also too, what I love too is that you made Justin slash the Toxic Avenger character um relatable, someone that we can like and root for, and it's great.
Yes, well, he's the hero we need right now. He's not like I said, he doesn't have all of his shit together. But I'll even tease because I mean we've already announced it really.
Yeah.
The second arc of the ongoing that, I mentioned there's going to be guest artists and
Mhm.
genre stories. The second arc is, we're back to Alfred, and it's called Toxie Goes to Washington. There's going to
Oh.
be there's going to be hearings. There's going to be bill markups. There's going to be legislation, and there's also going to be brutal deaths.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I want to thank Drew, the host of Comics for Fun and Profit, for putting this episode together. Drew, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes. And if you are a new listener, please check out new episodes of Comics for Fun and Profit that comes out every Saturday. I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this episode. Until next time, guys. Aloha.
Aloha.
Pushed around day after day, something burns beneath my veins. Can't take back what they did to me. Changed forever, watch and see. Breaking down, breaking through. Got this power, something new. Whoa, whoa. Chemical heart, toxic start. Rip this whole world apart. Chemical heart, toxic start. This is who I am now. Who I am now. Chemical heart, toxic start. Nothing can tear me apart. Whoa, yeah. Yeah. They all run when they see my face. Got the strength to set this place straight again. They're gonna pay for every punch, for every day. Rising up, breaking free. Got this monster inside of me. Oh, whoa. Chemical heart, toxic start. Rip this whole world apart. Chemical heart, toxic start. This is who I am now. Who I am now. Chemical heart, toxic start. Nothing can tear me apart. Whoa, yeah. Way made me different. They made me strong. Now I'm the hero. They were so wrong. They made me different. They made me strong. Now I'm the hero. They were so wrong. Chemical heart, toxic start. Rip this whole world apart. Chemical heart, toxic start. This is who I am now. Who